Well, it meant quite a lot because I am of that age when those games came out and the whole kind of, Sega Nintendo wars and all that. And me and my brother were really into video games. So I had the original Game Boy, and we had like at one point it was my ambition to own every console that had ever been produced. But then we got burgled, and so it it sort of it never happened. But so it meant a lot to me, to be honest, and had a lot, had a lot of emotional attachment to it, I suppose. Obviously, we've done extensive research on all the different countries that we visit, and sort of separating them out by sort of colours, really, and that worked through that with Dan, the production designer, particularly because he was kind of he basically we before we even had a conversation about it. Actually, we were pretty much on the same page in terms of color ways and stuff, and also with Jon, it seemed like we had a sort of intrinsic shared vision, I guess, of what these colors and kind of who these characters were, pretty much. So in London, it's kind of navies and greys as a sort of a very broad brushstroke, and then Russia, we're into more sort of sludgy colors, and a sort of lack of contrast, I suppose, between tones. And then when we're in Tokyo, we're very much in lighter colors and pastels, and just to lighten it up because we're in a different environment. And in America, we're quite colourful there, just to sort of differentiate the things and just get a different feeling as we're going through the film, sort of travel, I suppose, because there's a lot of travel in the film. I liked his costume because there wasn't, Jon's been very trusting, I think, of me, which has been amazing. And he's from Hungary, and my wife is half Hungarian, so I've sort of got an understanding of those people. And he's of a certain age, and it was just fun to sort of build the character into his costume, rather than just be like, well, it's a man wearing a suit because he's like he basically just goes around being a businessman, and he's got way more character than that, which I'm really happy about. And the second one probably would be Robert Maxwell, I guess, because it's just amazing. I mean, what Mark Coulio and Jan have done with his makeup is just phenomenal, and terrifying as well, because when he first came out with it, and he's got Rogers' voice coming out of Robert Maxwell's face, and I'm kind of like, everyone's like, what's happened? It's still like really confusing. But his suits, I'm really happy with the way his suits have turned out, because it's quite a challenge to costume somebody of that size, and obviously he's wearing a lot of padding as well, so which was Mark Coulio, which was just fantastic. But the sort of within the time scale, and obviously under COVID conditions, I'm really happy with how he's turned out, and he's like he's obviously a very big character in the films.